This is a heels up march and toe tap. So I'm gonna start with my feet pretty close together, ball the foot, big toe on the ground, knees pushed out a bit so they're right over the center of the foot. From there, I'm gonna hover my heels about an inch to an inch and a half off the ground. Start with just stabilizing here, trying not to let the ball of the foot and the big toe wobble off the ground. Once you get stability, you're then gonna just take some small marching steps, trying to maintain that balance on the forefoot without your heel touching the ground. If that feels okay, a progression would be to tap a foot forward. And you can kind of play around with tapping in different directions. But the whole time I want to avoid the ball of the foot and the big toe wobbling off the ground. So gently pressing the toes in. And I don't want to hyperextend the knees, but also not too much bend. So kind of a nice soft bend in the knees. So if you master that for about 45 seconds, then I want to progress it a bit further to make it less stable. So a balance pad, or you could start on a pillow or something, or a rolled up towel. But now I'm going to do the same thing. Ball the foot, big toe, gently pressing down, knees out a bit. Hover the heels, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Now this is quite a bit more wobbly, even with both feet on the ground. So I'm going to find stability and go with a march, go with a toe tap. You can go a couple reps in a row on one side, but ultimately I like this alternating pattern because I have to stabilize and move and then restabilize on the other side and move, which is more similar to how I would walk or hike or something like that. If we need to, I just have a trekking pole here. I can use something for a little balance support at first, either just on the ground or on the balance pad. At any point, you can add a little balance support with your hand on a wall, on a trekking pole, countertop, whatever you have. But the purpose of this exercise is to get stability when the heels aren't on the ground. So when we're walking, as we transition through the stride, there's a moment where my heel comes up, and depending on the particulars of your walking gait or the terrain, particularly going downhill, the heel often comes off the ground before the other foot hits the ground. So as I come off here, my control on the forefoot is going to affect how I land and the impact forces on my landing leg. So there's a variety of things that can affect symptoms, discomfort or control, particularly going downhill or downstairs. One of them that we look at is how the foot and ankle are stabilizing as the heel comes off the ground. So start on a flat surface, stabilize just with heels up, add a march or add a tap, whatever feels better to you, and then progress to a balance pad. And this was pretty tricky, so go slow with it. But what you may find is that your foot really wants to go to the outside, and that's often where that can result in some ankle symptoms, or the brain will reflexively throw the whole femur and knee inward, which then puts me in this kind of weird twisted position. So we're trying to keep everything straight on. And as I go to a tap, I don't have any other compensations. Obviously, a little wobbling is going to happen, but I don't want big movements of the ankle or the knee or the lower back. So this is the heels up march or toe tap. You can do both or whatever feels better for you, but give it a shot. It's kind of a tricky variation, but can be, I always think it's fun to play around with different balance drills. And this one in particular can be helpful for going downhill or downstairs.